Today we are doing a very special episode. Two movies came out on May 12th. One starring Ben Affleck, Hypnotic, and the other starring Jennifer Lopez, The Mother. These two are actually married. And they were in a pretty serious relationship decades ago, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, talk about both of them briefly and see which one was better.
Ladies first. That's a thing. The Mother.
Directed by Niki Caro.
So random. Niki Caro of Whale Rider, North Country, and Mulan.
She has a filmography. Zookeeper's Wife, also a movie I felt that was underrated. She is the mother.
Not to be confused with Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence. J-Law.
So much of it connects. The basic premise of this movie is Jennifer Lopez is a badass assassin.
I'm a killer.
Who is pregnant at first and ends up having a child whom she becomes the mother of.
She gets like stabbed in the baby. Isn't that how the movie starts?
Yep, right in the baby.
It's crazy.
Keep watching. It's on Netflix.
They lead with that.
Good for the algorithm.
Yeah.
She kind of looks after her from afar while being an assassin and just making sure she's okay by the time she hits like 13 or something.
I'm 12.
What did you think of The Mother?
It was a junky Netflix movie. I didn't have a bad time, but it's definitely not good. That's weird though, because Niki Caro made this. I was gonna say, unless Netflix is getting Jane Campion or something to do their movies, they're usually popping out these fake movies. That's what I call them, like Red Notice or The Gray Man. The stuff that's busy and entertaining enough to pass Friday night if you don't feel like getting off your ass and going to see Master Gardener. It's a disposable movie. There's really only so much that can be said, and honestly, I think we've already said too much.
This conversation now takes place on our terms.
If for whatever reason you have actually seen this movie and just want to know what the hell do we think of this, there were a lot of ridiculous cuts in this movie, which
Terrible.
Probably wouldn't have bothered me if it was somebody I actually enjoyed watching on screen.
Every time I look at you, I'm scared.
Not that I don't enjoy looking at Jennifer Lopez on screen,
She is
but
stunning.
she's not the best actress though.
But I'm also a mother.
Other than Selena and
Out of Sight, Hustlers, Anaconda.
really just slow, samey beats. It's like 3 or 4 different movies at once, and
Sure
none
is.
of them are really interesting other than arguably the stupid cutting part where they were fighting and running around. At least that was interesting.
This is a vehicle for her to play off of somebody who's young. She's got this dumbass daughter who loves animals and nature, and she's just a bitch.
And Jennifer Lopez isn't like Meryl Streep or anything, so it's not like
The
they really balance each other.
girl does what she can, but yeah.
Look at the mess you made.
It's probably a script that has been lying around, and eventually it made its way to Netflix, and Jennifer Lopez is like, I haven't done one of those. All right. And thus the movie was made.
The Mother.
The Mother.
I gave birth to you!
I thought this was not as good as Mother or The Father, but I did like it more than The Son.
The rating I would like to apply to this movie that I watched with my eyeballs on a streaming service called Netflix, I would rate it a 3 out of 10, I think.
I go with 4. It's a nothing burger, but like it did pass the time and it didn't hurt my soul to sit through it.
Hey, excuse me!
Now to talk about a more serious, more ambitious film, Hypnotic.
Yes.
This was directed by Robert Rodriguez, a director I really, really like. He hasn't gotten to make really any serious movies since probably Alita.
I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes a lot of kids' movies. I mean, some are better than others, but yeah, really great director. So it's kind of weird. Ben Affleck stars in this movie about a guy who is a cop going through this kind of journey, this Inception-y kind of style journey.
He's a cop with a missing daughter. William Fichtner is a bank robber who has this ability to just make people do shit.
Like a furnace.
They're trying to stop him, and Ben Affleck cannot be hypnotized, but he joins up with Alice Braga, who can, and William Fichtner is very powerful, and he's out to get them. And
But like the basic
But I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, this is a movie I enjoyed watching, but also during my enjoyment, I kept going, does this work?
I think it's the only thing keeping me sane.
And I don't believe it ultimately does because it is a little too stuffed with ideas. At first requires a leap of faith that William Fichtner and Alice Braga, they just go, take your shirt off, and you just do it. Jump in front of a building, and you do it.
It's basically just the scene from Star Wars for like
Yes.
90 minutes.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
It's like they're Jedi or something. The movie is handing out twists like Oprah's handing out cars. There will be a plot development, and it'll be like, gotcha. There will be another plot development, and it'll be like, nope. It's constantly trying to throw you off of the scent. There's fun in that, but you're also like, does this really add up?
What you're seeing isn't real.
I think it's a very normal movie that hints at being abnormal for like 60 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the big twist is revealed. And I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. Pretty interesting what this got going here. And it leads to some really good acting, I feel like, in a schlocky movie from Ben Affleck where he's with a certain person who is an antagonist at one point in this movie. He's just kind of like, go to hell. And it's kind of badass. And I was like, we just want some fun, weirdly high concept, silly B action movie. And that's what this was for that amount of time. And the way that this twist is incorporated, it has some pretty nice visual stuff mirroring the beginning of the movie where you're learning some new thing about how the beginning really was. And that stuff I thought was really creative from a production design standpoint. It's just a really cool thing. And then so that one big twist I feel like worked. And it was really making me like, well, this movie might be underrated because I knew it wasn't getting great reviews. But then it just added 2 or 3 more twists on top of that were just confusing and made me think, what the hell am I watching? But not even in an innately bad way. It was just kind of like, am I stupid for not understanding this? Or are they stupid for including all of this?
I wasn't paying attention.
I kind of like it. Overall, I just don't think it works. It's frustrating. The pieces are there, but there's also too many pieces. Even more interesting, though, to me is that the movie is 90 minutes. And they don't really waste your time.
The ending kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, so I kind of see where some people's thoughts are coming from. Ultimately, this is a movie I really wanted to like, but yeah, it really does kind of just bad taste at the end where it adds a little too much. The visual style of this was interesting enough to where it was like, yeah, I'll take this in a B movie. So I gave it a 5 out of 10. It was a good enough 90 minutes, and it was weird watching this in a theater, but I also enjoyed it.
I also give this a 5 out of 10. If this had been a straight to Netflix movie, I just feel like that would have made more sense. I don't want to encourage straight to streaming, but like I also think this would fit better.
Are you familiar with the concept of hypnotics?
Hypnotics.
If you're going to watch these movies, I recommend you watch the first 90 minutes of The Mother, then go see Hypnotic, and then finish the last 30 minutes of Mother right before you pass out, before you have to wake up to go to work.
That's the way to do it. You'll be in much better spirits.
I feel like that's how Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck would want us to watch these movies. You should probably do your best as a viewer to honor that wish.
Do you think that either of those hotties remember their experiences making these movies?
Don't know when this will happen again, when 2 married people will release the same leading performance movies on the same weekend. But if it happens, you bet your asses we will be stupid enough to make another one of these videos. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more goofy stuff like this.
Hey, you know what?
Hypnotics have the ability to influence the brain, sound, voice, locking eyes. Hypnotics use them to make you see a version of the world that doesn't exist.